Welcome back to another episode of Caps Cast presented by Whitecaps Fan TV. We're a little bit off of our cadence just because the League's Cup kicked off. Whitecaps obviously played last night against LAFC for the first game in their group stage. So we're moving our cadence from Mondays to today to kind of go over the game and preview this really big game coming up here. I'm joined, as always, with my co-host, Damien.
Hey everyone, how's your night going?
We are back. So yeah, we had an interesting week, I guess, right? We had our friendly versus Wrexham, which depends how you want to look at it. I know there's a little bit of controversy on both sides. And then we had disappointing game.
I don't know. Maybe, if you'd have said to me at the beginning of the night, we're going to go down to LA and come away with 2 points from penalties, I'd have been happy with that. I think LA are probably maybe the second best team in the league after Miami, just because of how stacked they are.
Yeah, and only getting more stacked.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk here. We got some stuff to cover. Let's not dive too much into it, but the friendly versus Wrexham, that happened Saturday afternoon. Massive crowd, like 40,000 people at BC Place.
Huge turnout, really.
Huge turnout. We went down there. We actually met the owner of the Turf Pub. As seen on Welcome to Wrexham, which was super fucking cool to just see him standing out front. So we chatted with him a little bit. I posted the little clip on our TikTok, but there was a little bit more going on behind the scenes. Like when the camera turned off, we were chatting a little bit more. Super genuine guy, was just there to have a good time. Yeah, that's about it. We talked to some Wrexham fans as well. Just see like where their heads are at about this whole thing, but nothing too crazy.
It's amazing when you think about it. Like, they're a league. What are they, League One? No, they're going into League One, right? A League One side doing an American tour. Before Ryan and Rob, that was unheard of. Even Championship sides might not do an international tour.
Yeah, there's a lot of hype. It was kind of cool. They had a full kickoff party on Robson right in front of the plaza, where they had like a full, not like a full pub, but it was like a remake of the Turf Pub.
Yeah.
Then a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, I'm a lot of Wrexham fans. It was kind of cool talking to Wayne about where Wrexham is now. A lot of the people that I talk to are like, it's 3 on the bounce, going up 3 times on the bounce.
Probably. I think so.
Who knows? It was kind of cool though. I do want to have a little bit of a rant here because I was thinking about this today, and I'm going to bring this to you, Damien, to really push back on. I know there's a lot of controversy over why the hell did we accept a friendly in the middle of the season, and why what the hell is the point? And I'll concede this, that yes, it was Wrexham. There is a ton of promotion around them right now, mainly because Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney are owners. They're putting a ton of money into the club, and it feels like they're parading them around. Like you said, it's unprecedented for any Welsh Division 1 team to have a US tour.
Yeah. Well, no, like you can't. They're a Welsh team, but like they're not Welsh Division 1. They're still in the English pyramid, right?
Yes.
You know, like they're not playing Rill and Aberystwyth on the weekend.
I just mean it like,
yeah,
it's not like it's like Leeds or, you know, Manchester United, Chelsea, Liverpool coming here. Like, this is a very weird matchup. But the one thing I do want to say is, besides all of that, is yes, Vancouver made 10 subs at half, I think. and I don't want to
Yeah.
go too much into the game because it is a friendly. But one thing I do want to highlight that I thought about was how are our Caps players supposed to grow when we play the same 20, 25 teams a season? You know, this was an opportunity for us to get a different look of tactics, physicality, pace, pretty much a different style of play than we're used to seeing in the MLS. And sure, it's a friendly, maybe the intensity wasn't there, but I think this is something that the Whitecaps should start to be doing a little bit more of, and taking advantage of a lot of these US tours that are being put on. Like what, a couple of years ago we had Crystal Palace come, right? When we had Davies was still here.
Yeah. See, I kind of agree with what you're saying in terms of playing these better clubs because, yeah, your players get better when they play better teams. That's obvious. But, yeah, for it to work, I honestly think that the MLS needs to change its actual, like, how the season runs. They need to switch to the European format. So our off season is their off season, and then we can actually combine and play these games in an actual friendly sort of environment where it is in the off season. You don't have to worry too much about injuries because for me, changing 10 players at halftime, you know that Banny's got his eye on the game coming up.
Yeah.
Like, it's the team that went out after halftime there. Had they pulled off that, like, a result there against Wrexham, they should have honestly, like, all up and left, gone and fucking formed a team in England and just started playing there. Because, like, that was literally the Whitecaps too. So, if they'd have beat Wrexham in that second half, every single player in that team should have got signed to a
Totally.
League One club, at least. Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
Like,
No, I do.
It wasn't going to happen. And like when you say League One club, Wrexham aren't. Look at the players on that club. They're not a League One club. They are like Championship side.
Yeah.
In terms of like performance level of players.
Yeah.
But
I know what you mean. I just thought, like, after everything kind of died down and, you know, all the hype of the game is over, I was like, this probably wasn't a bad opportunity for the Whitecaps to have. I feel that maybe it just came across wrong with a different promotion company. Not a lot of support to the supporting clubs, like to the Southsiders. It's been pretty documented on different like fan clubs all over social media that like they were the promotion company was no help in order to getting like the Whitecap supporters in the sense of like getting the Southsiders in, Rain City, and setting up a lot of the TIFO, as you saw on like the broadcast. It was all gone. But yeah, I just thought about that today where I was like, you know what? If we want to get better as a club, if we want to progress and not fucking have this same song and dance of, you know, are we going to push for the playoffs? Like, are we going to, you know, like we should be a team that is competing for the MLS championship. And I feel like this friendly, although there's a lot of bad publicity around Wrexham right now, good publicity depending what side of the coin you're on, but it probably wasn't a bad idea. And if this was somebody completely different, like say like a Leeds United or like Ipswich, you know, someone a bit lower in hype, that it would have been a bit more welcomed.
Yeah, I think so. I think there is like there's that sort of feeling around Wrexham as well. Like you're either very for them and very like with them and love what they're doing, or you fucking hate them and you hate the fact that they've been given this like opportunity. You hate the fact that they've been given this money and they are basically buying the way through the leagues.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's really like a middle ground on that. You're either like all behind. I'll be honest, I really like them. I enjoy the documentaries. Yeah, I hope they do well. I hope they go all the way up. It's like literally an English kid's fairy tale to start on Football Manager with a team that is in like the conference and take that team all the way through to the Premier League. So the fact that Ryan and Rob are doing it with an actual football team is quite magnificent. And if I had the money that they have got in a heartbeat, I would buy Rochdale AFC and do the exact same thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's something like you said, everyone who plays Football Manager, that's what you do, right? But yeah, I just thought about that today where I was like, okay, the smoke's died down a little bit. We have a decent result against LAFC where we can't, point fingers and be like, what the fuck? Like, if we didn't play Wrexham, would that have been a different result? But regardless, now that the smoke is cleared, I was like, you know what? It's probably not a bad idea. We should probably look to be doing this a little bit more. But yeah, that's my 2 cents. I just wanted to get that off my chest because,
That's fair.
it's fair. That's why we have a platform like this, is for me to rant and vent on. Anyways, Leagues Cup kicks off.
Yeah.
And we're drawn in a pretty, we've covered this. It's LA and Tijuana, so it's a pretty competitive group. One thing I do want to point out is that up until today, I don't know any of the results now because they're still coming in, but none of the Mexican teams had won a game at the time of this recording, at least.
So my question with that, are the Mexican teams currently in a league? Like, are they in the middle of a season? Or,
yeah.
Oh, wow. So they're not just like fucking dead men walking sort of thing?
No, I think I looked because I was trying to kind of gauge where teams were in their standings. I think they're only like 5 or 6 games into their season.
Still, though, you've gone through a full preseason prior to that. Then you're 5 or 6 games, and you should be fit and ready to go.
So I know there's probably going to be a lot of talk about like, oh, is this because it's like a Mickey Mouse Cup? Is this just a money grab from the MLS? I've seen that being floated around on social media. Yeah. I'm not pulling this out of my ass. I've seen it. People are like, oh, this is a money grab tournament for the MLS. I would strongly disagree.
Yeah, I do as well, actually. I think you're right there, Matt. I think the MLS have sort of screwed themselves by playing all the games in the USA. Yeah. Like, in North America sort of thing. That to me is a bit stupid. I think the MLS is getting to that point where the teams have got quite good followings, and you might actually be able to get quite a decent selection of away fans going down to these countries and like actually watching the games. I know, and it is what it is. Some of these countries might not be the safest places to go. Maybe that's why what's putting them off, thinking that people won't go there if the country isn't necessarily safe, or the area where the game is being played is safe. But still, I think giving them teams the opportunity to actually play at home and doing a home and away leg rather than this weird penalty thing would be so much more valuable. And why don't they run it the same way as like the Champions League? Don't shut the league down for a month. Just start it like 4 weeks in as a qualification process. Then the leagues, and just play it like Tuesday, Wednesday, like the Champions League do.
And who knows? Like, this is only the second year of it, right?
Yeah.
So maybe the MLS seems to be ever growing.
Yeah.
So maybe like as that happens, we will see a change in format. But this is where we're at, and I quite enjoy it. Yeah, so let's dive in. We get drawn away to LA. Because when I was reading about this team that's ranked higher in the supporter shield, like the overall rankings of the MLS, they'll take the home team. So that's why we travel down to LA. Let's get into this. We had a crazy game. That was there's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah, it was a very, very I honestly thought it was a very good game. Like the way we started the game. In fact, honestly, the whole game, Vancouver played very, very well. I thought we managed the threat of Danny Bouanga?
Yeah, Bouanga.
Like that Halbuni and Laborda double up that we kept on seeing every time he got on the ball was that effective that they forced him to swap sides with that Oliveira or whatever it's called. They actually swapped sides because he was having no luck. How many times do you see him swap sides? You don't. He gets the better of most players in the league, and he could get nowhere near it with Halbuni and Laborda all over him.
So we probably should have gone over this first because Javain Brown obviously gets sent through waivers and sent packing. But
Yeah.
holy fuck, Halbuni is him. My God, this guy put on, I thought, to be a defensive clinic. Just nothing flashy, just straight physicality and straight defensive mindset. And like you said, the pairing of hit, like when I saw Laborda as a right wing back, I was like, oh, for fuck's sakes, here we go again. like we just can't. He wants to play a 2-5-3 so badly, but we just don't have a wing back. We don't have a right wing back. And I saw Laborda as a right wing back, and I was like, for fuck's sakes, like here we go again. But him, Laborda, and Halbuni just completely pocketed Bouanga.
They did. It was, honestly, you don't see it. Like, I can't think of a game this season where Bouanga has just been so ineffective for the whole 90 minutes, basically. Like, yeah, he did nothing. Yeah. Saying that, but did he not get the assist for Kai Kamara's goal in the last minute, though? But then again, that was after the whole, like, defensive lineup had switched to cover people going off.
Yeah, so that's kind of a bit later in the game, but I definitely so let's start it off here. Halbuni, obviously, we can give him his flowers. Berhalter fucking hits one from the parking lot. One touch and hits it.
Yeah, man. Wow. What a goal. Honestly, like, when he took it down, I didn't think he was going to hit it, and then he just fucking puts his foot through it, and yeah, like, he must have been, 32 yards out. It almost looks as if he cuts across the ball a little bit as well, so it's always going away from the keeper. What a sensational strike. Like, absolutely unbelievable, man.
Through traffic, and he just, like, sliced it almost. Like, the way he hit it, put this spin on the ball through traffic, and, like, it was just always destined for goal. Like,
yeah, I really do think this has been his year. Like, there was a point in the game there where I was watching it at home here, and he chased the ball down that was just a dead ball. Like, they'd played it back to the keeper, and he ran from in his own half all the way to the keeper, just chasing this dead ball. And all I thought is, that is so Ryan Gauld-like.
He was playing, wide. He was playing inside. He was like you said, he was chasing like lost causes.
Yeah.
And yeah, he fucking completely steps up and hits one from the parking lot. And then next thing you know, it's like 1-0, 5 minutes in, and we're like, oh, then like the MLS broadcast loves to fucking hate on. They love to push their LAFC, I'd say, propaganda.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't know. Like, did you notice the win probability? They kept bringing that up.
Well, the first one, so we scored, and then the win probability shifted, and it was actually in our favour. And the commentator, like, basically looks at it and goes, the win probability is still in LA's favour. And it's like, no, it's not. Read the fucking chart, you loser. Like,
it was just like such a. I mean, like, last podcast you talked about like, oh, there's a clear bias for the the Canadian teams, and I'm like, okay, Damien, like whatever. And then like you listen to these like commentators, and it's like there was such a clear bias for the LAFC squad the whole game.
Yeah,
like
even
the whole
Ahmed
game.
Went down there. Ahmed went down and got booked for simulation. That was a foul to me. Like, he was fouled on the edge of the box. But I also think that the referee realised when he went in at half-time and watched that back that he made a balls of it, because in the second half there was a time when one of the LA players, Oliveira or whatever he's called, was cutting in from the left, and he went over somebody's leg. That, to me, could have been a foul as well. And the referee gave him a yellow card for simulation too. So I think that maybe that was just sort of to level it up, knowing that he'd made a balls of it.
Yeah, it was kind of weird because, like, the reffing went from getting everything called to nothing called.
Yeah.
Like it was almost like he was just like, okay, we'll let him play, but
Yeah.
too like that step too far.
Yeah, there were a few challenges and a few tackles that went in there that I thought, yeah, definitely should have been called that weren't. I don't know. I think the current state of refereeing in the league is poor. I think
Yeah.
maybe not so much if you're one of the top teams from America, like the Miamis, the Cincinnatis, the LAs, because they seem to get a lot of the decisions going for them. But yeah, for anyone that's like a Canadian team, or even like if you're in the lower quarter of them tables, you kind of get shit on by the referees, and
A little
it's
bit.
unfortunate, really.
Yeah. So
But
Ahmed, like you said,
maybe,
he picks up that yellow. He picked up that
yeah,
yellow like bad. It was. I mean, I don't know. I one of his dives could have been counted as that card, so we'll just take it. Like I feel
yeah,
like
I agree with that, Matt. I think like, it was about 5 or so minutes before, right? And he was like running through, and somebody blew or something near him, and yeah, he just went flat out.
it looked like he hit like an invisible like object at knee height.
Yeah,
Like he just completely lost his legs and just arms up and just went forward. So I mean, it was probably overdue. Whatever.
yeah, I suppose so.
And then 17 minutes in, we get a corner. Bear Halter fucking puts in an absolute dime.
Yeah, it
And
was.
Veselinovic just rises like a phoenix.
Again,
Unmarked, which was crazy to me. Like
yeah,
nobody was around him. And slots it in. And next thing you know, we're 2-0 up in 17 minutes, looking like we're gonna sneak one away here.
yeah. Honestly, being 2-0 up in LA after 17 minutes, like almost like a dream come true, right? Like that does not happen. They are very, very good at home. I think they've only dropped 3 games, well, 4 now, all season at home, which is quite an impressive record. And the amount of goals that they scored, it was posted on the TV last night. I think it was like 44 goals at home.
Yeah.
That is sensational. Like,
Okay.
wow.
So before we go into the second half and we start ripping apart the tactical substitutions, because I don't think they were that good, is one thing that I want to bring up is the commentator was like, oh, now we're starting to get an organic rivalry between LAFC and Vancouver. With how we've matched up with them in the past, do you believe this? Do you believe right now that if we are looking down the list of who we have is like not potential rivalries, but who we have as rivalries, obviously we're going to put Seattle and Portland 1-2 depending the year, right? Those can flip. Do you rank LA as a rival now?
Man, I fucking hate
Yeah.
LAFC way more than Portland or Seattle. Like, fuck LAFC, honest to God, man. Like, yeah, they're like, for me, they are the Whitecaps' fucking biggest rival.
I
Yeah,
was
like,
going to say
I
too,
don't care
like
what Seattle is doing. Like, shit.
I was going to say too is that the way that the last like year and a half is gone, it feels like these LA games are just like red circled for us, like as supporters.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
even in the game last night, man, you saw in the last like 20 minutes there, people started flying into tackles. Like it almost comes across like it is two groups of players that don't fucking like each other, and that is all what the rivalry is, right? Like you want like the clashes, you want the oh, I hate to say it because we're not allowed to say it anymore because it's 2024. But like, you want the aggression in a football game, you want the feistiness, the
the
fucking just the spine.
physicality.
Yeah,
Like you just
you want
want
all
that
that.
like classic English derby game, right? Like
Yeah,
that's what you want. I should have pulled this up too, but I'm curious what. So we were eliminated in the playoffs last year by LA. Is that
yes,
so? That's
yeah,
kind
that sounds
of
correct. Yeah,
yeah. And then it just feels like we met them in the Champions League pretty much. Or was it? No, it was Champions League last year and they eliminated us, right?
yeah, but it was a year ago to the day. I think they said that we beat LA 3-0 in LA. I honestly should have looked up the scores and like all the previous results before this. I didn't even think about it.
I totally didn't think about that until we started talking too. This is why we need Jamie to pull things up for us.
Yeah, but I know that last year we played LA 6 times in total.
Yeah, because I definitely remember being knocked out of the Champions League by LA.
The
Because I
playoffs,
remember
that was
the
2 games.
yeah. So I definitely feel like this rivalry is started. Like I
Yeah,
didn't want to say started. Like I think we're in it.
yeah,
Because
I agree.
yeah. So that was one thing that the MLS broadcast was saying was that like, oh, there's starting to be a rivalry, and I was like, what do you mean starting? Like,
Yeah, and I want to say as well there, the LA brought on the kid. It was only 18 years old. What was he called? In the last like 20 minutes of the game there. He was only a young guy. He came on, he played up front. Let me have a look.
yeah, I'm just gonna step in quickly here. I did pull it up. So it was the second meeting of the year and the 8th meeting between the two teams since April 2023. So the two teams previously met in the MLS regular season, MLS Cup playoffs, and the CONCACAF Champions play. So not only did they eliminate us from Champions Cup, they eliminated us from the playoffs. And then on top of, I also would say Bouanga doing the fucking backflip in front of the South Side too. Remember when he scored?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and that I know that for sure.
Very good.
Yeah. So okay, so that's that. We definitely have this rivalry now.
Yeah, it
And
is. It's
then
an official rivalry. Yeah.
and then you were saying so somewhat was it that got subbed
David,
on here?
yeah, David Martinez.
Yeah.
He's only young. He's only 18. He went in a couple of times on a few players late. Once on Bulmer in net. Who I just want to say as well. I thought Bulmer had a very very good game in net. I was a bit
Yeah.
nervous when I saw him at the as like our number one, but yeah, he was very very good.
It's almost like he knew this was his moment to shine and
Yeah,
just took it cuz yeah, he made some unbelievable saves and he
yeah.
really kept us in it. So, okay. So let's get into the second half here. So this is kind of when the wheels slowly started to fall off. I
It
don't
wasn't
know
like
if
I don't think it was slow, Matt. I think up until we lost what we took the Fafa off at halftime, right?
yeah,
Throw
so
Johnson
Fafa
in.
comes off and Johnson comes on. And then
So
at the
I'm
same
assuming that's
time,
an injury.
Kai Kamara comes on, which probably to deal with the fact that Bouanga was in Halbuni's pocket for the first half.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I agree
they
with that.
probably needed some sort of like offensive substitution for them. And then yeah, so that's how we start off the second half. I don't get why the Fafa came off unless there was talk of an injury. He pulled
It
up
said that he
like
was
his
holding his right hamstring towards the end of the end of the half there,
yeah, so probably it was like I'm not continuing, whatever.
especially with the game coming up on Saturday,
Yeah, it's
which
not worth it.
I do think that like not starting Kubas and things, and like I think Gold could have played because all the reports that I had read said that he was fit for the
Mm,
game. Like he wouldn't have been like 100%, but they could have given minutes. And I really think that they were saving like the big hitters like that for the Saturday game, knowing
knowing
that if
that
we win that, we're through.
yeah, I guess like the way this League Cup kind of plays out is that a win and you're through pretty much.
Yeah, especially if like LA really did us a favor beating Tijuana, whatever it is,
Yeah.
in the first leg though, because especially with us getting 2 points now, the fact that we only need a draw, the only thing I hope is on Saturday that I don't see Vanny set up for the draw. He needs to go out trying to win that game, or we'll get beat.
Yeah. So okay, so let's before we jump into
Yeah.
next game because there's a crazy scenario. There's
Yeah.
we can fucking
Yeah,
do
we'll jump in
the
afterwards, yeah.
the Doctor Strange multiverse of scenarios that could happen here.
Yeah.
Okay, so Cubas does come on in the 69th minute, kind of strengthens everything up a little bit. This is kind of where it gets tough is he starts making these defensive subs, which I don't really get. You know, it was like he was trying to hold on, which I understand, but I think we could have hit them one more time on the counter. It was there for the taking. So the 69th minute, he brings on Cubas and Raposo.
Yeah,
So obviously defensive substitutions. I did like that because it allowed Cubas to slot into midfield and not really hamper a defensive position. Like, because what happened then is Raposo just swapped into the right wing back, and then
Labarda.
Cubas into the middle, and Laborda goes into the right center back. So that I
Yeah,
actually, when I saw after you see the numbers come down, you're like, what the hell is he doing? And you see this change in formation. I was like, okay, solid substitutions. Like to basically have almost your normal starting 11 halfway through a game fresh, not a bad sub.
yeah. My only thing with them subs, Matt, was dropping Labarda back into that back three there. Halbuni was, from what we saw though, honestly, we've not seen much of him this season either, but from that little bit of the game there, he is a very physical player. Like, strong, like, likes to slide in, likes to get into a tackle. Labarda, I like Labarda. He's like, over the last few weeks, I was like, on the edge of not liking him, but over the last, like, 6 or 7 games, he has really pulled me back on board, and I think he's, like, doing really well. Between him and Raposo, I don't think they're the same sort of like physical presence as Halbuni.
No.
And I think that was seen after the substitution. Because Raposo, it was almost like Raposo wanted to get forward and kept on drifting inside, which left a bit more space on the outside, whereas Labarda, when he was out there, was staying right on that wing, basically up Bouanga's ass for the entire game, not letting him do anything.
Yeah,
But it
because
just,
they, as soon as Bouanga got the ball, Halbuni and Laborda just instantly closed them down.
yeah,
Like it was just like an instant double team. Like them
yeah.
two moved in like sync.
Yeah, it was a very, very good defensive performance. I think Vanny had to go there to LA and set up slightly defensively. Just, I think we're a very good team, and I think on a day that all our players are fit, where we've got like Gold, Kubas fully like fit, both of them, Blackman in the back, just the full everyone that we can possibly have. I think we could go to LA and attack.
Yeah.
But on a day that we don't have everybody fit, we need to, soak up the pressure and hit them on the counter attack when we know we can.
Yeah. And that's what we did.
Yeah.
Is one thing that the commentator said is that, LA's been really bad on set pieces to begin their season. And sure enough, both those goals that we scored are the result of a set piece. Like the second ball, the first goal with Berhalter, he actually gets this ball back off a set piece. And then
Yeah.
obviously the Veselinovic goal, that's a header off a direct corner. So
Yeah.
I think you're right. Like hitting him on the counter and taking advantage of set pieces. Like I think tactically Vanny was like spot on.
Yeah. And I do want to touch on the other substitution that happened there in the 75th. He took Brian White off and put Damir Krilic on.
Yeah.
Which, like, honestly, I get it. We're 2-0 up. It's 75 minutes in. You've got Brian White, who I know he didn't score, but he's pressing for the night. Every time the defenders had the ball, he was on them. Balls coming over the top. He was up against the defender. Like, even the commentators were saying constantly throughout the night, Brian White is a nightmare to defend against.
Yeah.
And, like, I used to play, like, defense, obviously very, very low league. Nothing, like, anything to do with Whitecaps. Yeah, if you've got a striker that is constantly barging into you, like, on every, like, set play, that is just pushing you around, even, like, as a defender that can sort of, like, push your weight back, it gets tiring. And you get worked up, you get annoyed. Like, Brian White, like, if I were on the football field, I'd be describing him as a complete arsehole, to play again.
That's honestly what they were saying, like, but they were using much more polite
Yeah,
language.
like
They're like, "Oh, he's a pest. He's a pest," and I was like, "Just call it
yeah,
what it is." Like,
yeah, like him being on the pitch like that, like I love it. Like him being on our team, our side, like that is like the kind of player I want. But like, and I honestly think taking him off and putting Krylak on, as much as I understand the substitution, it allowed LA to actually start playing up the field because when White is on, he's putting pressure on them on the edge of their 18. Kralik isn't doing that. He's like letting them come out. So they were getting maybe 30, 40 yards up the pitch without anybody going making any like tackles. And that, I think, one of our greatest strengths is our pressing at the front.
yeah. And it's tough because like 76th minute and you're up 2 goals. Like
Yeah.
any circumstance, like you don't think a team is going to put their foot on the gas at that point. Like
No.
you would think that LA at this point have basically been front foot on the gas the whole game, and that we can kind of just put in this defensive 10 man behind the ball.
Yeah.
And so, okay.
And honestly, mate, I think if them 4 subs were like the nails in the hands and the feet, the like javelin in the side was losing Veselinovic in the 87th minute.
Man, the fucking javelin in the side was Levante Johnson, but
Well, no, but even before that, man, like everything they had thrown into the box, anything that had got past the wing backs,
cleared out.
Veselinovic was there to like clear the ball. He goes off injured in the 87th minute, and within fucking 1 minute, Kai Kamara scores a header, and it's right into the area where Veselinovic would have been to clear the ball. As soon as he went off, I was like, oh, not like this. We're gonna fucking concede here. And yeah, lo and behold, a fucking header. And I was like, how fucking typical that our like lanky 6'4" Serbian defenders just gone off.
Just
And
got
then they
off.
swing the ball into the box. The guy marking him was Labarda. And Labarda like, is doing his best. Labarda in the air against Kai Kamara, who is fucking. We saw him for the Whitecaps. He is a good finisher of the ball in the air and a good header of the ball. Like,
Pissed me off that he celebrated, but whatever.
yeah, it is what it is, man. Like, he's doing his best.
Yeah, he's so good in the air. I mean, how many times did we see it as supporters of like in our own South Side, right? Yeah, I didn't think about that, that's where Veselinovic would have been. And I think like we said this last week is like who steps up when Gald goes down. And it's strange that our center back has assumed, not strange, but he's assumed that like captaincy, which is great. But he's almost been that Ryan Gald anchor without being in the midfield.
Like, yeah, if Gold isn't on the pitch, it's almost like Veselinovic is organizing everybody. And
Well, he's standing there shouting, organizing everyone, organizing the defense, like being like, okay, push up, push up. You can see him constantly just being this like maestro organizing it.
And I think you saw that in the goal that tied it up for 2-2, that we just looked unorganized at the back. It was everybody was all over the place. We were caught out. But as much as, the goal was like a proper kick in the ribs, Levante Johnson, man, fucking pack your bags and get back to the Vancouver Whitecaps too. That miss at the end of the game, though, man, like, you are
bad.
one-on-one. The keeper is stood stationary on his line. You've got 3/4 of the net to aim for on one side, or a slither on the left, and you try and tuck it down the slither. Like, what are you doing in that situation? Put it into the fucking wide open net. Just roll it past the keeper. The game's done and dusted. 3 points, we're through.
What drives me crazy is that, okay, we've got LA on the ropes, right? Like that would have been to make it 3-1, right? Because they scored quickly after.
Right after, yeah.
So what does my head in is that not only would it have been 3-1, if this is a standard like league game, that's not going to be the LAFC backup keeper. That's going to be Hugo Lloris, who's not going to let that happen. So it's like we had the perfect opportunity to really just fucking put the nail in this coffin and really, get the momentum, because we are going to have to play them again.
Yeah.
And you just, okay, in the moment, it's a league game, we're in a tournament, whatever, but you just have to fucking capitalize on these opportunities, regardless if we're in the Leagues Cup, if we're in the Canadian Championship, like whatever. Like, you have to capitalize on this. This isn't like okay, whatever, we escaped with a draw, like we're still alive in this Leagues Cup. It's like, okay, is this same mistake going to happen again? Because next time you're not going to have Hugo Lloris there, who's that's not going to happen.
No, I don't know, man. That was like, I don't know. I was watching that and seeing him miss from there was, I don't know, man. It was so like fucking soul destroying and soul sucking that, I don't know. Like, I have lost all faith in his ability as a player for the Whitecaps after that miss. Like, that's what I mean. Like that.
And we've even gone to bat and been like, hey, maybe is like a loan move the best option? This is obviously not. This isn't the caliber that we need. But like, fucking hell, that was bad. And then next thing you know, we're fucking square 2-2 in the 95th minute. So, okay. 2 instances that lead to goals that I'm a little bit not set on. So the first one is Bomer getting hammered and dropping the ball. I don't know why the ref didn't call a foul, because that directly led to the free kick that Kamara scored off of, right? Because what happened was all the defenders drop back, make this crazy goal line clearance, but it's like, why was that not a foul?
Yeah.
Because he completely gets hit, spills the ball. I get it that when he comes down, he hits like his arms, like, you know what I mean? But he's clearly pushed in the air, which that's a foul to me. But I mean, I guess we're going to overlook that. We're going to overlook that because, we make this crazy goal line clearance. But unlucky for the MLS, we have this podcast where we can call them out on this, because that directly leads to the Kai Kamara goal.
Yeah.
Where it's like, fucking hell. Like, and then it's like the beginning of the end. Second thing is this offside.
Like, I honestly don't know. There wasn't, they couldn't show like a conclusive view, like shot, like of the offside, even for the VAR, because he was so far away. Like, Utvik was basically stood by the fucking linesman, and the rest of the play was like in the actual like 6-yard box, right? So I get why the VAR couldn't come out, but yeah, to me it looked offside. I don't know, man.
Why
on a fucking
why do we have VFR? Why do we have VAR if VAR can't fucking see anything? If you're telling me that, we're going to rely on VAR, not rely on it, but we're going to have it to fix mistakes, it's going to catch these, like, should be offside goals, it's going to catch these fouls, why the fuck don't you have a camera angle on it that can see everything? Like, I get it. Maybe. Actually, I don't get it. Why are there not designated cameras with angles,
But
like, this is...
Do you want to know one thing that I've never understood? So now the players wear them fucking sports bra things, right? That track their own distance and their heart rates and everything throughout the game. Why is there not a sensor in there? And on the side of the pitch, on a fucking rail, have a camera that follows the ball, one that follows the ball, and one that follows the player, the last defender, or the last attacker. And it's just moving, and it tracks them via that chip. And when somebody else becomes the last player, that camera switches because it's the last player closest to the byline, right? If the camera was constantly moving up and down following the last players, any offside decisions, you would have clear shots right down the line. You'd have one of the player kicking the ball and one of the last defender. It wouldn't be that difficult to do.
No, and also, why are we not using this like automated offside that we saw all summer at the Euros, you know? Brings it up. It's like if we want to be taken seriously as a league, this kind of shit can't fly.
See, mate, you can't fuck over the Canadian teams if you're using the proper technology, though, can you?
But that's just it. Like, and the fact that it took so fucking long to go back and forth and to come back with it, it's not conclusive. Like, obviously, bullshit. Because why are there not cameras set up? If you know, like, hey, we don't have automated technology, like, we're a budget league, if that's what the MLS is going to call out and say, like, bullshit. And, okay. So then it's the 90 fucking 5th minute and we're going to penalty kicks. We've blown a 2-0 lead, which all happens in what? 6 minutes, 7 minutes?
Yeah, it was tragic. Yeah.
Then we go into like, and I don't want to, like you said, I don't want to take away from Boehmer's performance because he was absolutely on fire. And if Berhalter didn't put in an absolute man of the match performance, I would have given it to Boehmer.
Yeah,
but I mean, Berhalter was miles ahead of everyone. And so we go to penalties, and I'm like, okay, great. We're not really a good penalty team. I can't remember. I can't remember the last time we won a game on penalties, to be completely honest.
When I think of penalties, the only one that comes to mind is the one against, I think it was Club Leon, that finished, I think it was like 16-15.
No, that was Tigres.
No, it was Leon, that one.
Are you sure?
Yeah. And then, because what do you call it? Who's it missed 2 penalties in it? Martins missed both of his penalties.
I remember that.
Missed it both.
Okay, so it was I think it was Tigres. Or okay, maybe you're right, it was somebody. Yeah, I think you're right, it was Leon. I don't know why I doubted you here. Because he missed both of them. I remember that though. Okay, yeah 38 penalty kicks.
Yeah.
It finished 16-15 for Leon.
Yeah.
That being said, we lost the next game. We went into the knockouts against Tigres and lost in penalties. I think that's where I'm getting it all mixed up.
Yeah. We were in the stadium, mate. I remember like it got to like the fucking 30th penalty and we were just like, fuck me, will somebody
miss? Please, for the love of God. So yeah, I don't have a lot of faith going into penalties, but I mean, Kai Kamara misses, which I was like, heh, like fucking dickhead.
Me too, actually.
Like that's for celebrating. And then is it
the guy that scored Bozan or whatever he's called?
Yeah, he fucking skied it to outside the stadium.
Yeah, that was good. Like, he scored the goal as well, right? Like the goal was offside, so that was quite nice as well.
And then
missed the penalties.
Oh yeah. Fuck, figure that one out, hey? And then we obviously are perfect from the spot. So
good penalties as well. All the penalties were good penalties.
Solid penalties. None of this like stutter step nonsense, like foot through the ball, back of the net. Keeper had no chance on pretty much any of them.
Also, that's one thing that I noticed there. The angle that they had for the penalties, like the camera angle for the TV, was fucking shite.
Man, it's probably the same camera angle that was doing the offsides.
Which that's why the VAR wasn't working. That's the only camera they had.
They're like, fuck, we've only got one camera. Like, just hope something happens.
Yeah.
But, okay, so we have a fucking screamer of a game. Like, we concede, go up 2-0, concede 2 in 6 minutes, and basically get the hell out of LA and a penalty shootout win. If that game, any other chance that game goes to extra times, I think we lose.
Yeah, I think at that point there, LA were just getting back on top.
Yeah.
Just because conceding 2 goals like that, their confidence going into any extra time, though,
Sky
you'd
high.
think could be fucking like flying. Whereas like Vancouver would be like, oh fuck, have we just fucked this?
So, okay. So,
Yeah.
we get. Now, this is where it's really weird. So, LA get a point for forcing penalties. And
Yeah.
then we get 2 points for winning the penalties.
Yeah.
So, now let's play the Marvel intro music for the Multiverse of Madness, because this is where we can get crazy. Okay, I got some hot notes here. And I'm going to say shout out to the Whitecaps Insider at Instagram page, because he did a lot of the research that I'm taking. Okay, so if we win against Tijuana, we go top of the group. We'll be on 5 points, and we basically clinch the group, which means that we get to face the second place team out of Pumas or Monterrey. Both those teams lost to Austin, so Austin topped the group for them. So we play essentially the winner of this Pumas and Monterrey game. So
that's if we win the league. That's if we come top, right?
That's if we come top. Yeah, because I don't think. Yeah, we would have. Yeah, that's if we come top, because LA have us basically covered on goal difference, and all that, right?
Yeah.
Plus they have a win too, right?
Yeah.
So basically, it's win or bust. So if we win, we're top of the group, and we play Pumas or Monterrey. That being said, the Pumas and Monterrey game is at the exact same time as our game on Saturday.
Okay. And with the legendary fucking service in BC Players, I'm sure we'll be able to check what score it is.
God, with no Wi-Fi, like, travesty.
You know.
We're sponsored by TELUS, but yet we don't have like a solid Wi-Fi connection or service in the stadium. Like, it just fucking does my head in every single time. Okay, so basically, it's win or bust for us. If we can force a shootout, that means we'll finish second, and we would automatically clinch second place. But then we have to play Austin away.
Yeah, so I think I'd rather play either of Pumas or Monterrey than Austin. If Austin have beat both,
I know.
Yeah, I think so.
So I'm just going to pull this up, because this is where it gets a little bit crazy now. So if Monterrey end up winning their game,
yeah,
we would go to Houston to play, because they are the higher ranked team in this, like, how they've drawn the League's Cup.
Okay, so Houston's like the base, is it? As like, so what
Houston's their base. So that's an away game at Houston. Now, if Pumas wins, we're back home at BC Place.
Okay, and I imagine if it is Monterrey then, and we have to go down there, with it being so close to the border, there's obviously quite a large like contingent of the supporters living in the US as well.
Yeah, that'll be a hard game away.
Game for them.
Yeah, that'll be a really hard game away game. I think,
man, and like the fans from like these countries down there are just so fucking hardcore as well. Like, they love
I love it.
sport. I'm for it.
They're
so passionate about it. It's incredible to watch.
That's
to
why it's a
see.
little surprising to me that I mean at the time of recording that none of the teams from the League MX have picked up a win, you know, seeing as that like it is a very ultra competitive league.
Yeah,
Who knows though? So I'm just trying to see then okay. So basically the only result we can't have is to lose.
yeah,
Because if we lose, Tijuana pick up 3 points and we crash out at the group stage. Um, Depending on your preference of this League Cup, like if you're like, hey, this is a Mickey Mouse tournament, this is the result you want, because it would give us all of August to rest. But I personally want to see us make a run in this League's Cup. I'd love
yeah.
to
Me
see
too.
us go. I'd love to see us go to like the round of 16. And get drawn like a fuck. I'd even love to see us go to like the semi. Fuck it, I'd love to see us win. But let's be
Yeah, me too.
realistic here. There's some very tough games if we were to get through, and you know one of them is going to be Tigres, which apparently are our kryptonite.
Yeah, every time we play him, it's not even Tigres, mate. It's like one player. You know it is.
Is Ziznak is
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's like a thorn in the side of this
like
club
Vancouver,
permanently.
and it's
Yeah.
weird too because the way that the knockout stage is that you play just the West teams. So
Okay.
there's some really tough games that would lie ahead. But I think what we as Whitecaps fans need is to obviously smash Tijuana 20-0,
Yeah.
and Pumas to win. I think
Yeah.
that's my hope. Because yeah, I think going to Austin, Monterrey game, and Monterrey's I think it's quite close to the border. Um
Okay. Yeah. So it is basically a home game, isn't it?
yeah, I'm just looking it up because it is yeah. So it is closer to the border. Um Holy shit, it's also the oldest active professional team from the northern part of Mexico. Fun fact.
Oh wow. There you go.
There you go. Yeah. Okay, so that's the multiverse of madness that we have. And to recap that, basically, if we win, we're going to go top of the group, and we're either going to have a game with Monterrey away or Pumas at BC Place. If we push it to a shootout, we'll have an away trip to Austin. And then if we lose, we're done. We crash out.
See ya.
But that's our week in review there.
Yeah.
So what's anything else before we close the book on this LAFC game?
No, not from me for the game. Really, I'm just a little bit. Um,
Annoyed.
with the news of Javane Brown leaving. Obviously that's freed up. We've now got 2 international roster spots available. We need to sign someone. Like we can't just let Javane Brown leave and not bring in somebody. I know like, you might think Hal Booney is there, but
No.
there's got to be something happening in this transfer market. Like we're so close to being a fucking very, very good team. If the owners would just put their hands in the pocket and actually like buy us a few
So there
players,
is this
few players.
rumored transfer that's coming in. Um I'm just gonna see if I can find it. Maybe we can touch on it next podcast because nothing's official and it's all these screenshots from these like shady Twitters and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, is this? But they're saying the name to look for is Eddie Vidal,
Okay.
from Colombia, but he's a fullback. So
See, that might not be bad though. Like, what side? Left?
I think it's a preferred right center, like a right back. But I mean, realistically, like, who knows, right? And this is all from like Twitter. And like, anybody can write anything anywhere as long as you sound good enough.
Yeah, yeah.
So who knows? But I think you're right, is that like Javain Brown leaving, it's kind of a sigh of relief for me.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I honestly quite liked him. I think as a right-sided defender, he was okay. Anytime that they played him as like a right wing back, I really didn't enjoy watching him like play in that position. But yeah, as a right-sided centre back, I thought it was good. Yeah, I genuinely hope that wherever he goes, whatever he does with his career, he does very well.
Salt Lake picked him up.
Did they?
Yeah, that came out today, like
That
early
was
this.
pretty quick, man.
Yeah, because I guess MLS, they put him through waivers, which is similar to like how in like the NHL and the NBA, is that any team has the chance to sign him before he becomes a free agent through the waivers process.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that's different from, full on releasing him or whatnot, but similar to like a North American sports.
Maybe it just puts it available, so yeah, like you said, somebody else can pick the contract up for next to nothing sort of thing.
Yeah. So Real Salt Lake pick him up, which good luck if they play him at right wing back. Like, good luck.
Yeah.
No, solid player, like you said, he was great as a right center back, but I think like as a right wing back, it just wasn't it. But we'll see. Transfer window's open now. Obviously we're in this League Cups to distract us from all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
And
we can go
down the Twitter rumor mill with Eddie Vidal. Is that what I said his name was?
Yeah, I'll probably dive into that tonight a little bit, and
yeah, I'll send it to you offline. But yeah, okay. So that's that. And then for us this week, we are back at BC Place on Saturday versus Tijuana. 7:30 p.m. So a bit later than I think we're used to. But we'll have another episode of Fan TV. So that is coming.
Yeah, we will be outside. We'll probably be outside Gate G.
Wherever the casino is.
Yeah, near the entrance to Park Casino there. The like the side entrance. Yeah, if you want to come and see us, if you want to come and
we'll be there regardless of the result. I think this time we did cancel it the last game because it was just too depressing.
That was a bad result though. That was brutal.
And like the entire BC Place entered, like just everybody left, and we were like, okay, well, this is done with. But we will be back this week. I think it'll be cool. Maybe we'll try and get some away fans. Maybe we'll see. Might make for some good like chats.
Yeah,
it's just for fun. Yeah, but we'll be outside, and that's all from us for now. I guess we'll be back on our regular cadence next week to review this Tijuana game and forecast what's next for us.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll be back Wednesday, Saturday after that if we get through. If not, it might just be well, we'll jump on, have a few discussions, maybe discuss this horrific fucking salary cap in the MLS at some point, because
we've got a ton of topics about sheer shithousery we can talk about. That's a never ending loop.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Well, that's a wrap on this. We'll see everyone next week, and we'll chat later. Thanks for listening to another episode of Caps Cast presented by Whitecaps Fan TV. You can find us on Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram listed below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content.